Hi everybody, I'm Mike Schlueter and welcome. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about photographing birds, wild birds. We're doing it right here in the back of my home. You can do this at your home, it's very easy. Of course they are wild birds, so they're free to come and go as they please, so a little bit of precautions and planning goes a long way in getting some great photographs. So what we've done here to start with is, these are the bird feeders where we feed the birds and just enjoy watching them through our windows. But what I've done for the photography of this is I've attached a branch with some zip ties to the feeder so that it gives a natural environment, which is where they'll be landing a lot of times, resting and waiting their turn at the feeder, and I'll be photographing them. I've got a nice background of snow back behind here in the ground. I'll fill in some of the bare spots as needed. And I've shoveled out an area here where I'm going to put up a small little pop-up blind that you can get at any hunting or outdoor store where I'll be concealed. It won't bother the birds, they'll be used to it. I'll be shooting through a small hole with the lens, probably a 200 to 300 millimeter lens. We filled up the bird feeders, of course. As soon as you do that in the winter time, they're there like magnets. So we should have a lot of action. And we're going to have some nice westerly light. I've picked this location because the west is off just over my back shoulder here. So late in the day, we'll have a nice clean background of snow. Pretty cardinals or whatever kind of birds are on the branch is going to, their feathers are going to look terrific with that nice, beautiful, crisp light on them. And we'll check in a little bit. We'll get the blind set up and see you in just a bit. Hey Barney, say hi Barney. This is our puppy Barney. He likes to help out on these things. All right, these things, as you can see, they got a little wire steel in there, and it kind of just folds up. Watch them when they come apart. They can get a little bit crazy on you. There we go, and that's about it. Pretty quick and easy. Now this one, of course, is already set up in terms of the windows open, which we would be closing them down. So once I get this in position, of course, I could leave these side ones open. The birds will probably come from my left because they're not going to come near the house here. So I'll probably close up everything, but maybe this one, let me have a little fresh air in here. But I'll zip this one up with just opening this just a tiny bit. You know, as I zip it up like this. And that way, okay, I would have a fold-up chair in here, at tripod and camera set right up here, and zip just kind of down tight on the lens, so just the lens is sticking out. Now, a couple of things. All right, a couple of things. If it's windy, these things can do a couple of things. One, that if they're not anchored down either by weights or if you're on ground where you stake them in the ground, they could obviously, they're a sail, they'll take off. Two, they can tend to flap and scare wildlife a lot. So in a perfect scenario, you're going to use these when the wind is non-existent or very light. And then they're phenomenal. The wildlife isn't spooked at all, and they work out great to conceal your movement.
No, but you know what you did spook? Over here. They're spooked.
Yeah, they're wondering what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't seen this before. So, but anyways, this is kind of where we're at, and we're going to set up. And here in a little bit, we're going to wait and kind of get settled in, and the birds should be back for a feeding, and we'll show you what we get. See you in a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, we got snowed out the other day when we were setting up to do the shoots. Big snowstorm came in, dumped several inches on us, and the wind was just terrible, so it shut down any good opportunities to set up the blind and do any bird photography here at the feeders. So we waited. Weather blew through. Today's a perfect day. A little bit of snow flurries, but the winds died down. Nice conditions, soft light here. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get some shots and kind of tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. First off, as you can see, we've got the blind set up over here. I've got a fold-up, collapsible bag chair inside. Comfort's important. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to stay long. Likewise, whatever you're wearing for the temperatures out, you want to be warm, otherwise you won't stay. Gloves, I just use these old ones. I cut the fingers out. It keeps my hands pretty warm, but I also have total mobility for camera controls. That's important. You don't want to be fumbling when the action starts. You can take any of these blinds whenever you set them up. Now, of course, it's just some bricks I've tied down to it to hold it in place. But if you're out in the field, if you're in a wildlife area or something, of course, you can use the metal tent stakes, and that'll hold down the tent to keep it from blowing around on you. Got everything. I've changed my angle a little bit. I moved the branch, kind of, you tweak as you go sometimes. I was noticing the way the birds were reacting to the feeders and how they'd set on the branch, so I turned it slightly, and I've adjusted my blind position accordingly. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. we'll set up inside and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm set up in the blind here now, and we're going to kind of get quiet and get ready for the birds to start coming in. Feeders are full. Got my position set up here. A little bit about camera and lens that I'm using in the settings. First of all, let me stress, use what you have. As your experience and finances dictate, you can always get newer, better equipment. We all want newer stuff. That's human nature. But you can get some great pictures with what you have, I assure you. This is an older camera, actually. It's a D300 Nikon, but it's a terrific little workhorse. I've got an older 80-200 lens. There's wind kicking up a little bit there. And basically what I've done is I picked my f-stop, f4, which gives me a shallow depth of field. I've picked one, I think I'm at a little over 1,000th of a second to make sure I freeze the bird's action, and then I've adjusted my ISO up or down to make sure that I'm getting a proper exposure. And I do that just by shooting some test shots before the birds are even there. Basically at ISO 400, it looks like about a 1/1000th of a second. At f4 is giving me the proper exposure. Background's going to be out of focus and blurred because of it's just white snow in the background. So I'm going to kind of zip up a little bit here, get ready, and wait for the birds. Okay, here's what we're seeing, of course. Getting a few of the little birds to come on in. I'm showing, of course, the feeders now, so I won't have that when I'm doing the actual photographs. We'll be keyed in on the branches. This is where they're going to land, a lot of them. But right now, I'm just kind of showing you the overall setup there. They're kind of getting frisky there. There they are, all at the feeders. Once they get enough on the feeder and they can't fit anymore, then they tend to wait their turn in line on the branches. This is kind of the overall setup. I'm just shooting through a little porthole in this blind. Once again, you're seeing the barn in the background here, but we won't see that on the photographs that I'll be shooting in just a bit. So we're going to set up the camera and see if we can make a couple of pictures. I think once we get settled in, they're going to be coming in because both feeders are full. Starting to snow again, so they're ready to eat. Okay, well, we got some great photos out here at the Backyard Bird Feeders. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you get out and try some of these techniques in your own backyard with your photography. The main thing, use the equipment you have, set up a blind, a feeder, a prop or two. Be very aware of your background. Clean backgrounds are wonderful. Distracting ones can kill an otherwise great photo. Thanks again for joining me today. I'm Mike Schlueter, and I look forward to seeing you next time.